Hey, this is Warren Sprouse. You're on the Bible Forum. We're here every Sunday night from 8 until 10 p.m. We do it for you. We're talking tonight about evolving commitments. The evolving commitments having to do with the flag issue. You know about the flag issue, don't you? NFL football, as a result of the flag issue, is now the least popular professional sport in America. It's always been number one. It's falling in behind baseball. Now they're coming into the end of their season and the World Series playoffs and all that, so maybe that plays into it. But I don't think that's all the story. They come behind college football. They come behind the NBA. They come behind college basketball. They have a 44% favorable rating, down from 57 the first month that they were in business this year. They have a 47% unfavorable. And it doesn't break down in a red state, blue state kind of issue. On October 8th of this year, 2017, before their game on September 25 against the Arizona Cardinals, the entire Dallas Cowboys team, along with team owner Jerry Jones, took a knee together before the national anthem and then stood in unison for the anthem. No doubt football fans were shocked. I was surprised. I didn't think the owner would do that. By Monday, there was a public explanation. According to Jerry Jones, the owner, this wasn't an anthem protest. Instead, it was a gesture of unity. Let me add that this gesture of unity got clouded by the fact that it was around the national anthem time. If that was what it was too subtle. He says if there is anything disrespecting the flag, then we're not going to play, period. Dallas Cowboys show up, and in your stadium, your team does not show respect for the flag, Dallas Cowboys pack up and go home. You believe that? I kind of believe Jerry Jones. I think he would do it. He says, we're going to respect the flag, and I'm not going to create the perception that we don't. I'm going to create a perception that we do. He went on to say, I know this, we cannot in the NFL in any way give the idea, the implication that we tolerate respecting the flag. You know, those guys are going to have a meeting this week. This is a whole league meeting. All the owners are getting together. It's going to be interesting. See what they say. He went on to say, we know that there's a serious debate in this country about those issues. I'm not sure what those issues are. When I look at it, when I see it, some of the players have different issues. But he said there's no question in my mind that the National Football League and the Dallas Cowboys are going to stand up for the flag, just so we're clear. He was then asked about players raising their fists during the anthem. In his response, he said, yeah, I don't know about that. But if there's anything that's disrespectful to the flag, then we will not play. You understand that? We as a team are very much on the same page together. We've made our expression that we are together. Jones was then asked what he had told his players, and he said, I have a long record of supporting Dallas Cowboy players, and that's been multifaceted for almost 30 years. So I'm going to continue to support our players. But what we will not support is not standing for the flag. There you have it. Boom. Now the reality is that the ratings are suffering. The crowds are rebelling. America doesn't like it. I think the players thought that most Americans were progressives, they were liberals, they were in sympathy with them, they would understand about all this, but it turns out that's not true. The liberals, the progressives, whatever, they're in the minority. Ratings for the NFL, however, have been dropping for a number of years. This was not the time to test the issues. This is the time for the teams to stay as clean and upright and focused as possible. Now, the ratings have been dropping in large part because of technology. You don't have to watch it on television anymore. You don't have to go to the game. In fact, you can probably get a better view not being there. People that go to the game are loyal fans. They also like the energy. You can't measure statistically the other platforms that people are using to watch these games. You can't measure YouTube the way you can television. PlayStation, View, Hulu's live TV. There's just a whole bunch of these things. And then there's the young adults who are not establishing households. And they disrupt the metric. They may be fans, but we measure households. And the young people today are not establishing households. They like the free flow. I go hang out with this one for a while. I don't like it. I move on to somebody else. Or I just live at home. It's just crazy, and they can't keep up. What we can measure is the number of people who are not attending the games. And these stands are at least half empty, maybe more. That's got to give you pause. I'm sure the NFL leadership, the team leadership as well, and the myriad of people in groups who depend on NFL drawing large crowds are wondering if they're in the right business. Now, why is it that there are Americans supportive of this disrespect? Why can we find so many? I mean, there's a bunch. I don't know what the percentage is. I would guess it's about 30%. Why is it we can find one American disrespecting that flag? That flag stands for liberty and justice for all. People are selling everything they have short of their soul to get here. And when they get here, they can be themselves. They can do their thing. Nobody tells them what to do, except to obey the laws, but they can worship any way they want. They can believe whatever they want. They have the option of starting any business they can think of, and they can probably succeed. Here they can own their own home. Here they don't have confiscatory tax structures, and they don't have dictators coming in changing the rules every 20 minutes. Why would you disrespect the symbol of all of that? Well, let me suggest to you over 60 years of public education in America is a large reason. Starting with the Vietnam era and stretching on into the progressive education era, people tend to kill off what they don't like. Why would Americans want to kill off the American experiment? Partly because they aren't Americans. Not in the classic sense of the word. Yes, they come here. Yes, they're born here. Yes, they pay taxes here. And if they were asked, they'd say, yeah, I'm an American because I'm not German or whatever it might be. But they're not, in the classic sense of the word, Americans. They don't have that American spirit. There's a sizable number of what we call unassimilated immigrants, largely because they're here unlawfully. but for other reasons as well. They don't assimilate. They used to. There's a sizable number of people here who just snuck in one way or another. A sizable number of liberal progressives whose goals cannot be achieved if we have a strong, patriotic America. They can't win. A strong, patriotic America is another way of saying a strong Christian America. I know that offends you, whatever, but that's the truth of it. This country was founded on biblical principle. We've been through this. You can go back through the hundreds of YouTubes. You'll find one. Just, Google it. We've talked about it. Go online, Google it. You'll find it. It's a fact of life. You can't change it because you don't like it. But these people are not joining in. What we're learning is that they are a very small percentage of the total. We, in the majority, tend to sit back. And because we're comfortable, because we are satisfied, we're not threatened in our experience here in America, we don't feel the need to jump up every time somebody says something bad about America or about our system. Okay. But we don't believe that way. These people are going to find it increasingly difficult to generate the kind of reaction and push that they want. But only today. Because the trend is the other way. The children that we're breeding here are going into a classroom that is not American. Their philosophy is not American. They're not teaching the way Americans have always taught. What they're teaching is not supportive of the American ideal. And it's in overt ways, it's in subtle ways. How is it our kids can leave the so-called public school system and go into college and have these professors indoctrinate them with this garbage? Because they were set up that way in the classrooms in your community. I said to people in 1980, if you love your children, get them out of the public education system. Most people didn't listen to me. And now there are parents and grandparents who no longer recognize their children, no longer recognize their grandchildren. Where did these kids come from? They came from that psychological experiment which is the public school system in America. It's working. We need to change that.